And welcome everybody to another episode, another week. We're still here. We hadn't been shut down yet. Southern Wrestling Hot Topics and News. Southern Wrestling HTN. Yeah, for all you people that don't like saying that many words. It's me, returning for another week. Cowboy Cliff Rogers. Hello everybody. Yes, how we doing out there in podcast land? Manu Soto, back on the phone. Whoa. Man, did you finally get your endorsement check in?
Yeah, I think my sponsor, wish to thank the UWE, my sponsor, for providing me with all my comforts in life and how things are going. Got that long-term contract signed, and I will be there for a while.
You got a contract? I've been.
We're not supposed to say that yet. Okay, my legal team, Heckle and Jekyll, said to hold off on that. It's not quite done yet.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
I was gonna say, dude, like I've been bumping for UWE in Louisiana for 3 years. Where's my contract? Where's my stacks of hundreds? Yeah.
Where's your laser printed customized mug?
You know, I can't really say this is nepotism because you're not blood related, but this is kind of like nepotism here. I think there's some unfair treatment there.
Hey, using words with more than 4 syllables, and it's Sunday. Hold on. Let me roll.
Well, folks, look, if you've been following the show, if you've been keeping up with us online and everything, you know that we have been working overtime, man. We've been working really hard to get this magazine out to you. We had some podcast episodes in the can, pre-recorded and stuff. So it is a busy fall right now. It's fall 2024, but man, there is some big stuff going on all across the regions. And we're going to get into a little bit of that here soon. But really, I figured, you know, man, I've just been working so hard getting this magazine, and Manu, I know you've been working hard. Whatever it is you do to make money like that, you know, let's just.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, I've worked extremely hard. I mean, you know, the Cash App is going. I'm telling you right now, Bitcoin, Elon Musk was the way to go. Thank you, sir.
You know, I figured today would probably be a pretty good day to just start hashing out some road stories, man. You know, that's the most fun.
Ooh.
That's part of the best thing of being a wrestler is the road story, you know. So, you know, for those
Actually,
that
it is funny that you brought that up. I'm driving today. We're coming back from church and brunch, and I don't know what made me think about this. Ask some of the old timers. Ask James Beard and Dapper and everybody about a referee we had named Tommy Fouché. Tommy Fouché he cracked me up. Tommy Fouché would eat a whole clove of raw garlic and down it with Lone Star beer. The entire trip, 5-6 hours. Okay. Now give that a little bit of time to simmer, and then halfway through all the matches, guess what starts pouring out of every orifice and all the pores in his skin, his body during a match? Man, you could not get through the match with your eyes just watering because all you're smelling is Lone Star beer and fermented garlic. And this could be a 3-day road trip, but that's what that man did the entire time. I don't know what made me think about that today, but I mean, I don't know. I passed by a dumpster or did something. I mean, it just triggered an old memory. And I was like, you know what? This would be a good one to share with you. I was like, and ask some of the guys about Tommy Fouché. We've had some interesting matches with him.
Man, that's insane. That's you know, first of all, I can't understand. How hard do times have to be for somebody to just take a raw clove of garlic and be like, you know what? It's pretty much like
no. That was normal. Yeah. He wasn't destitute. He wasn't hurting for money. That was just Tommy.
That sounds like a struggle thing to do, but he just did it.
He said it kept his system clear. His clarity was better. But after so many, you know, cases of Lone Star beer on the road, then you get to the match. You get your spot. You go. You bump. You go. You pin your opponent, and you look up. And your ref, your garlic perfused ref, is standing in the corner, kind of just glazed and looking out over the audience, and you're like, you know, you got him pinned for 30 seconds. You're like, hey, Tommy, you want to count? Oh, yeah. Older guy. So he had to kind of get down on one knee, get down on one elbow, get to the ground. So 3 minutes later, and the guy kicks out on like 2.5. You're like, but you learned that was our norm. We learned it to be the norm. So
that is Okay, yeah. So at that, if I was a worker with that cat, I'd just make sure my finish is something like tremendous, like a power bomb flipped over right into a pile driver. Be like, it's gonna have to keep you down for a good 5 minutes because that's just what we're working with tonight.
It was just easier to do some chair shots, get out of the ring, get counted out. About 20 minutes later, when he finally realized you had been out of the ring for 19 minutes, and then he's looking for you. So it was like, okay, yeah. Mix
Man,
that with Bubba Monroe in the car too, and the stories and everything that's going on. It was like a perfect store mixture.
Bubba Monroe, the
Oh,
Cajun
rest in
Brawler.
peace, Asian brawler.
Yes, yes.
Woo,
Bubba
man.
was Bubba, for those out there that probably are big wrestling historians and like to look into the territory tales and stuff, probably heard of a civil rights activist slash wrestler known as Spudnik, aka the
Yes.
Spuds.
Yep.
Spudnik was man, he was great from what I heard. Of course, I'm not near old enough to have ever gotten to know him or anything. And then Bubba started, his son. He started a wrestling, or he tried to start a wrestling program out here in Louisiana. When briefly when I was like in junior high and stuff, we lived out here, and I was like, Mom, we got to go check it out. I mean, like, what if it's legit? We go there. There's Look, I'm not speaking ill of him, but there is no ring in sight. There is no sign. We just follow this address, and it's nothing but overgrown weeds and like a church pavilion. And I was like, look, I feel like we're about to get like lured into like a Texas Chainsaw movie or something. Like this ain't it. So that was my only real experience there with Bubba Monroe. Was like, well, I'm glad I didn't pay in advance. What's going on out here, man? But he was
Did you actually have to walk behind or past the trailer?
I think if memory serves correct, we were so sketched out we didn't get out of the car. We just was like, "Yep, this ain't it. Let's go."
Okay.
And he was actually a tag partner of my trainer, Dapper Dan, Danny Davis. They worked
Yep.
together quite beautiful. It's kind of hard to find tape on them, though, man. I've been, back in the day when y'all were rocking the camcorders that looked like a missile launcher, unless somebody was
Oh
able to
man.
take that VCR tape and convert to digital, a lot of stuff didn't make the YouTube jump.
No, it did make it a lot of pictures. Like I know a lot of guys have gone and reposted pictures. Someone who shall not be named with the initials MV
Mm.
has reposted like pictures from I know they're Polaroids because Pretty Boy used to have the fanny pack and the Polaroid with the 10 pack. And unless somebody was taking pictures for you, or like you said, the heavy duty, 20-pound camcorder, there was no video.
Yeah.
There was nothing. And you know how difficult that is to say, okay, I've been in the business, I've been around the business for 30 something years. Oh, well, can I find you on YouTube? Nope,
Well,
but I have pictures of the house. You
yeah.
know, now you can kind of, you can kind of grab some of those, convert them over. If you still have the VHS tapes, you've converted them over to digital or done something else and saved them. But I mean, all of us that are 45 over have stacks of pictures. But yeah, it was difficult back then. You didn't have all that. Luckily, we had a lot of guys from PWI, Pro Wrestling Illustrated, that after the matches would say, "Hey, when I was WWE, when I was Frankie the Thumb, hey Frankie, I got these pictures for you." Okay, when I was with the NWA, WCCW Mid South, hey Manu, Devastation Inc., I got these pictures. I made duplicates. If you could sign one of each, and then I'll make sure and give you copies of everything. So a lot of times that's what would happen. You would have the photographers come up and if they followed you. So that's good. That's how you made it into PWI, top 500, all that other stuff. That's how your pictures got in.
Awesome, and that's kind of a similar strategy that we have going here with Southern Wrestling HTN. We right now we do have two photographers, and I want to go ahead and shout those guys out. They love indie wrestling. They love wrestling altogether, but they just love being a part of that indie scene. One of them is a legend, Manu. He's probably taken plenty of your pictures in the past. There you go. Yeah, toss it at them. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about Steve Byer of Pro Wrestling
Oh,
Illustrated.
there you go.
No, Stevie. Man, that guy there, he is a sharp shooter. He can just pluck the best moments out of thin air.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He always catches my good side, and man, he just really outdoes us. And because he's so close with Dapper and all that, he's always been taking pictures of us. And so as an indie guy, just starting out, just being able to say, yeah, one of the PWI guys takes my pictures at my matches, like, oh man, that already
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
blows up the chest a little bit.
And a
So
lot of times, starting off early in your career, those are your profile. Those are your picks that you. That's your merch.
oh yeah,
A lot of times you get that and you go, hey man, can you? Yeah, I got it for you. The same thing. Sign one for me, so he has one for his copy or his magazine or whatever he's doing, his album. Get the other one. Next thing you know, Staples, make your copies, get going, or get digital prints. The new guys, that's the way to go. But get hooked in, get to know the people around that don't work in the ring, that work outside the ring in the organization, because those people are a lot of those people. You hook up with the right people, they will help you move your career on. They'll get you started.
Another good photographer we have, our second one. Of course, Steve Byer being the lead, but Leslie Harrington is our other one, and he actually is a self-made man, self-made photographer. He went to school and all that, bought his own equipment, and then one day he told me, "Hey, cowboy, just so you know, I kind of quit my job, and this is all I do now. So, like, next time you need something," and I'm like, "Whoa." And I had to commend him. I'm like, hey man, you dove in. I mean, good job. So he's doing well with it. Harrington Studios LLC. Look for him on. He's based in the Lafayette, Louisiana area, but will travel.
Okay.
And man, let me tell you, he just really took to UWE. Our one of our stars, ruthless Devontae Adams. Uh, there you go. He made the connection. They were friends before the business, and so thankful to have both of those eagle-eyed sharpshooters out there. But you know what we also do with Southern Wrestling HTN is if there is a promotion out there, as long as they have a good certified professional photographer, and we have that permission from that photographer, and we credit their name, it kind of runs itself. Hey, bro, especially with the internet today, compress it down into a link, email me the link, it pops up over here on wherever I'm working at, and we're done. So, I really appreciate and respect the hustle and grind that's been going on for decades, but man, it's never been easier with that email, dude. You can get it
Man,
done.
I wish we would have had a tenth of a percentage of that back in the day. That would have been so nice. That would have been so nice.
uh,
Going into quick copy and making your copies, trying to, oh, this is too dark. Oh, it's black and white. Oh, my face got smudged. All right. And you're, 100 copies later and, $20 later, you're like, no, I got to get something else. I wish we'd had some of that back then.
Man, I tell you what I learned in Houston actually, and this when I was at the Houston Premier Arena, me and the gatekeeper, the Desperados, we were working the Bulldogs, and we get there, and the call time was at like 2 or 3. The show started at 8, and so yeah, the call time was 4. Show started at 8, and new wrestlers, young wrestlers, they always like to think like, why do I gotta be there so early? I mean, like, what are you like? Do you not trust me? Do you not think I'm gonna be there on time? Like, chill, bro. And well, no, see, you're totally missing the point. That is your time to get things figured out. You walk in, and be like, all right,
Right.
who's lead photographer? Me. Okay, look, let me tell you how I come out. So I normally like to come out over here. I'm gonna work them here. I'm gonna work them here. So if I were you, I'd just kind of be ready because I'm gonna do my thing here. That is your 4 hours to get it done. I mean, sadly, we're not in the WWE. There isn't a paid full time salary guy whose job it is to
Nope.
tell you these things. It's on you, babe. You got to go find the photographer and tell him what's up.
Yep. That's your prep time. That's your prep time. And believe it or not, sometimes that's not enough time to get everything ready because you're still clanging and banging and just going in whirlwinds at the very last 5 minutes. Oh, getting ready to start. All right, who's curtain jerking? All right, hold on. Man, I haven't even found out who's the sound guy. You got my music queued up. You're just that. It's sometimes it's just not enough time.
And then you realize, oh yeah, I kind of need to like get ready to wrestle. I've kind of been
Yeah,
spending all day doing this.
need to put my gear on.
Yeah, that'd be a good start anyway. Man, I tell you,
Oh my god.
I still got something wrong that trip. And no shot against PWF. It's a great promotion, but me having this unusually thick Southern drawl, and everybody kind of being in a hurry, and there being a lot going on, it got
I
to.
don't hear it. I just don't hear it.
I know, yeah.
I don't hear it. I
I've
don't
been
hear it.
told
Okay.
it's thick. I don't know where they're getting it from, but um,
Dang.
I'm sitting
Okay, Sam Elliott, go ahead.
up. So, God. So I go up to the
This was for dinner.
if I could just do the mustache thing he does with it.
Oh man.
That'd be an awesome gimmick. But I go up to the commentator for the night, and great dudes, great, very professional guys. Well, he just couldn't understand me. That's more my fault than him. But he asked, "Hey man, just so I get it right, tell me your ring name." So GK's over here. He goes, "Oh, I'm the gatekeeper." He's like, "Oh, easy. That's it." Writes it down. "What about you?" I'm like, "Cowboy Cliff Rogers." And he's like, "Sorry, what was that?" I said, "Cowboy Cliff Rogers." He's like, "Got you, boss. Got you." I'm like, "Sweet, we're done." A few weeks later, they produced the match. They put it out on YouTube. I'm watching it on YouTube. So proud of it. I'm like, man, we look good. Man, we look good. And then I hear the commentator say, all right, looks like this tag match is getting ready to get started. Looks like Bulldog Jr. is going to start with Cowboy Clifton Roberts. And I'm like, oh no. Oh no. And the match just started. I'm like, oh no. So the whole rest of the match, it's a great match, but I'm called Clifton Roberts the whole time.
Wow.
So
That's like Hunter Hearst Helmsley and then going to Triple H.
yeah.
Cowboy Cliff Rogers to Cowboy Clifton Rogers.
Yeah, Roberts, that was
Oh,
uh,
oh,
I guess that's got to
excuse me.
be my
You're from the Roberts family. I see the Roberts estate.
oh yeah. Um Look, I respect the heck out of Jake, man, especially doing what he did to clean himself up. But that's a rough family to be hooked on to there, babe.
Man. Woo.
But actually, that brings something up. Did you ever get to work with Jake?
I talked to him. I worked with Grizzly a lot. Worked with Sam. Actually, Sam and I are still good friends. Talked to him a lot. I don't know if you know his partner, Charlie. Charlie,
Charlie,
the big Indian guy that
not
always tag team with Sam Houston. Um,
not ringing a big bell
he
there, but
sadly he passed away about a year and a half ago.
okay. Mm.
When I saw Sam again at the Black Bart Invitational two
Yeah.
years ago. Yeah, he was there a year ago. I talked to Sam about that, and yeah, talked to all of them, and like I said, met Jake a couple of times, and it was just quiet guy for everything you see on TV, the way he talks, the way he sounds. You know, everybody's got their ups and downs. Everybody's got their demons. Everybody's got their vices and things that they're dealing with. And some days are good, some days are not so good. Um, same demeanor all the time. But yeah, I actually talked to Sam Houston a little bit more than anybody else. So,
And
and
that's a
Grizzly was always nice to me. Very nice because I was young coming up, and I was in Mid South and all that. And he was like, Manu, you're in Devastation Incorporated. Keep up, stay around Akbar, learn the business. Just keep going. So, Grizz, good and bad, more bad than good, but I got nothing bad to say about him. He treated me good. Always got paid. Always got the money we discussed, and always told me he actually told me whether I had a good match or a bad match. So, and he continuously booked me. So yeah,
yeah. You can't always when bad things come out about people way later. Keep like you say, he did nothing wrong to you. No reason to speak ill. You weren't involved. So, but I will tell you, man, Sam Houston, for those that maybe are just mainstream wrestling fans, like maybe you just watched WWF and then later WWE and maybe some TNA, and you really just know about Jake. Sam Houston, man, that cat there could work, still can at his age,
Yeah.
and he's another one. Everybody likes to glorify Jake, and they should because what he did was impressive. But Sam had the same fight. He just didn't have a doc about it, right? So he didn't get the documentary treatment, but Sam Houston had to fight the old alcohol devil too, man. And when I met him, I met him at that Black Bart show a year ago, or yeah. Wow, it's already been anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Gilmer, Texas.
Gilmer, there ain't a whole lot in Gilmer.
There's two lights and both of them are blinking yellow. So,
Well, I met this cat there, and he was. I asked him who he was working, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm working with Sam." I'm like, "I'm sorry, I haven't met everybody yet." So he goes, "Oh, Sam Houston." I'm like, "Sam Houston's here?" So I was a little. I was a little, kind of hesitant. I was definitely going to go meet him, but just all the things I'd heard about the guy, all the DUIs, all the times, that he had burned somebody. I Me working in other fields like rodeo and radio and things like that, and my many different talents I've employed. I've met some great DJs and some great cowboys and stuff that are good people, but they just never could shake those demons, and it's kind of hard to watch them be a shadow of what they were. So I didn't want to see some old sad guy barely functioning. I walked in there and I was so impressed, man. He looked like $1 million, and just the sweetest dude. I walked in to shake his
oh
hand.
yeah.
I was like, "Mr. Houston, how are you? I'm a student of Dapper Danny." And he first thing he does was look down at my boots, and they were white and black with the triple eagle pattern.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Whoa, look at there!" And he goes, "All right, son." He goes, "Who made them for you?" I told him, and he goes, "Well, there ain't." He goes, "Well, they ain't this." And wow, he pops his up on the table, and I was like, "Whoa, look at that!" And he goes, "Don't worry, kid." He goes, "I'm gonna shoot you the guy's phone number. We're gonna get you hooked up." And then he puts his arm around me and he goes, "It's so glad to see you in the business, man. Welcome." And I was like, "Oh my God!" I wanted to call him Uncle Sam. He's everybody's uncle. He's just such a sweet guy. And man, I watched him work. Me and my tag partner GK, we sat there, and we're cowboys, so I was like, "All right, let's go get under this learning tree and see what's up." And he had everybody in there believing, and all he was really doing was like working a hammer lock. He'd bring them down to the ground. He'd drive that knee into the arm a little bit, keep working. He worked a hammer lock, and he had everybody in there believing. And I was like, okay, we're watching a chemist here, make something out of almost nothing. So that right there is kind of really when the light bulbs finished coming on for me. I was a year ago. You learn a lot in a year, and that's when I was like, okay, I finally get it. Less is more. There we go. I said, because this dude here.
Yeah.
He was getting a bigger pop off a hammerlock than some guys were getting off a moonsault. You know.
That's that old style veteran move. Okay, I'm not going to take any kind of bumps or maybe half a bump. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to work some holds, stuff that they're not seeing right now. And that's it. You get that 10-minute match. You work 9.5 minutes of the one wrist lock, and that's it. And then you take it home. So.
Well, one time I was with Dapper. We rode together out to TSW, and which again they're heavily featured in our first issue, and one of their big brains is one of our big brains. We have something in common. That's the legend James Beard is highly involved with TSW, this magazine, and of course UWE in Louisiana. So he's kind of the link in all the chains there. So they needed a heel team. And they wanted Dapper for sure, and then they were like, "Bring a student." And he's like, "Well, I'm gonna bring one of my boys," and he brought me. And so we go over there to tag together, and we're working with two guys from the Dog Pound, and good workers, man. They got it done, but they just we could just tell the difference in how they were used to working and how we were used to work. I can't speak on how they were trained because I've never been to
Right.
Rodney's dojo. I don't know how he trains them,
Right.
but they just didn't really want to call anything on the fly. They were way more comfortable talking about some stuff beforehand. And I'll never forget this. He comes up to Dapper and he's just like, "Hey man, so I got this thing in the corner, flip, 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 flip," and then he just goes, "Okay, call it." And he's like, "I mean, but isn't that what we're doing?" He's like, "No, just when you're ready, just tell me. I'll get down there for you." Uh, okay, but and then I had to go over and tell him like, guys, look, this guy's from a different time. It's gonna be beyond good. Just let it happen, So, but I can get it though. I was
That's
like,
funny because going back to Sam Houston, and I would say this when you said they knew they wanted Dak, okay, so you get to one of the original heels, one of the best heels in the business, and you get Dak, and they tell him to pick somebody. That was a huge. I don't know if you realize this or if you've realized this since then. That was a huge shout out to you for him saying, "Yeah, I'm going to bring one of my boys, one of my students," and he picked you. Because Dapper and I will tell you, we're not going to bring anybody with us that's going to embarrass us or make me look bad. You can make yourself look bad, but if we're traveling together, they look at us both the same.
"Yep."
And they'll say, "Hey, Manu, hey, Dak, why'd you bring this guy? Why'd you bring this greenhorn with you?
Are
He
you
can't do
ribbing me?
anything."
Is this a rib?
So for him to pick you to do that, that was huge. That means he trusted you. I know he trained you, but training you and then trusting for you to know what to do with that training, that was huge.
Yes, it
That was
was.
huge, and that was a big thing because as soon as you walk in with him, that's it. They go, "Oh yeah, you were here with Dak. Oh yeah," and the next thing you know, Cowboy Cliff is Cowboy Cliff on his own. Say, "Yeah, okay," but that's huge. But it's funny. Back to Save Houston. When I met him, because last time he had seen me, over 16 years ago, had the long hair down to my butt, everything else, and I was like 425 pounds. Here I am, 275, 280 last year when I saw him. And he looks at me and I said, "Sam Houston." All I had to do was bark twice. He's like, "Manu!" And that was it. Big hug and everything else. First thing he did, he reached in, he hugged me. He said, "Man, do you forgive me?" I said, "For what?" "Man, I was an a-hole back in the day." I said, "Yeah, I know." He goes, "You know what?" He goes, "You didn't drink, you didn't smoke, you were with us on the road, and you were just a good guy. And you hung out with me and Charlie, and you were coming up, you were with Ack, and you were with One Man Gang and Rod Price." He goes, "You did everything. We had some hellacious matches." He goes, "You never judged me." He goes, "Man, I appreciate that." He goes, "Well," he goes, "I tried to turn that leaf, and I'm going through my book and doing all the steps and you know making amends with people." Introduces me to his wife. He goes, "Honey, you remember I was telling you about Charlie and Manu?" She goes, "Yeah, Manu from Devastation Inc., from one of the Hawaiian Crunch guys. This is Manu. Oh my God." He tells me the story. He goes, "You remember the tag team?" He goes, "It's you and Kahuna." He goes, "Or no, you and Gang." He goes, "And against me and Charlie." He goes, "You're probably pushing 425 in that match." He goes, "And you're off the top rope. You're doing this. You're doing that." He goes, "You grab Charlie." And Charlie was this big Indian guy, probably like 6'6", 6'7". He goes, and Charlie was like, I don't know, good 250, 260. He goes, "You put him down. You picked him up." He goes, "About 2 or 3 feet over your head." He goes, "And you gave him a power bomb." He goes, "From hell." I said, "Yeah, I remember Charlie crawled out." He goes, and I said, "He tagged you." He goes, "You ever find out?" He goes, "You ever know what happened?" I said, "No." I said, "I know he didn't finish the match." He goes, "So you remember that match?" I said, "I remember it." He goes, Charlie crawls over to me and he goes, with his last breath, he's like, "Get in, get in."
Brother,
He goes, so he
please.
tags me. He tags me. I come in. I tag you, Gang. We do this. He goes, I go back to tag him. And he's just laying in the corner. He's like, "Nope, nope. Finish the match. Finish the match. I can't stand. Finish the match."
Oh God. Yeah.
So we finished the match. He goes, "You remember Charlie?" He goes, "And you and Gang beat us." He goes, "Charlie had to be carried to the back." I said, "Yeah, I remember that." I said, "Whatever happened?" I said, "I never got to talk to him." I said, "We had to hit the road and go." He goes, Charlie's like, "Jesus Christ, Sam, Manu power bombed me My spine went through the ring. My soul left me. He goes, and I completely emptied my bowels into my trunks. He goes, he goes, I crapped myself and
Oh,
I couldn't stand up. He goes, and I couldn't feel my legs.
oh man, that's when
He
like
said,
that's
he
when you
said,
start sweating. The only thing in your head is this that, and you're just like everybody knows, everybody knows, we
and
gotta go.
he either wore white trunks with red on the side, or he wore gold trunks with black on the side. So either way, they were not color coordinated for
Oh
what just
Lord,
happened.
no.
He had to be he had to be helped to the back, but apparently his legs went a little bit numb. He said it was about a day and a half later. They're traveling down to Florida. He finally gets the feeling back in his legs, and he told Charlie, he said, "I ain't wrestling Manu anymore. I ain't wrestling Manu anymore. He said, I ain't doing that no more."
It's enough.
He said,
So was the power bomb just like your finish after that? Sounds like I'd just make that a finish.
"Oh no, well that wasn't the finish. That was
Oh,
hot spot. That wasn't even the finish."
oh wow. What was your finish?
My Manu, you know how you see Raquel get into the corner, second rope, she comes off, almost like a Vader splash. She does that,
Mm-hmm.
but she twists it. So mine was second. Well, as Manu got going, mine was second rope, sometimes top rope, and a splash backwards onto them.
Okay.
But then I got into where when I got into MMA for a couple of years when I was with NWA and came back after doing some MMA stuff, um, came back, and then a lot of it was submission holds, leg locks, and combined with all the power moves.
Kind of more like a
So
Samoa Joe style, like where he likes to choke you out and stuff.
kind of, but I like to inflict a lot of pain before I get there.
Okay. Oh
You
yeah.
know, chair shots are really nice. You know, things like that.
Tenderizing.
Ask MV, ask MV about that.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure he'll be like, "Oh yeah, man, I took it. It didn't hurt, because I'm unbeatable."
Oh, he's going to tell you how he split the back of my head open one night, which he did. The little, when the chairs fold out, that little triangle part where the chairs meet each other, a little triangle part, that little metal piece had come off of the bolt. Ooh, somebody trying to get in? That little metal piece came off, and when the back of the chair hit the back of my head, that little metal piece acted like a razor and just went boop, and cut the entire back of my head open. So we're outside the ring, and I'm turning, and as I'm turning, putting him back in the ring, I'm like, out of my peripheral vision, I'm like, what is that? And I'm like, something's just shooting and squirting, and you hear the audience go, ooh, ah. And I'm like, what is that? I didn't realize the back of my head was cut open, and it was just shooting blood as every time I'm turning
Oh.
and turning. I had no idea what it was. Yeah, it was a sprinkler effect. I had no idea.
That is
I had no
gnarly.
idea.
That is
Oh, it was
gnarly.
pretty cool.
That
It was pretty cool.
that kind of reminds me of like what happened because I just watched the new Vince McMahon doc series on Netflix, and
Ah,
all you wrestling fans and wrestlers out there, watch it, dude. Watch it. It's and I'll say this to somebody that's in the business: if you're in the business, wrestler, manager, booker, watch it because that's almost like a seminar, man. They pick the brains of the people that were doing this stuff. So great doc. But when they were talking about WrestleMania 1 getting here and first time wrestling had ever been put on a pedestal that high, like what you were saying back in the day, unless you had the big massive camera or somebody with you, if you weren't there, you didn't know. And now here's Vince McMahon putting it in everybody's living room across the U.S. and now you've got WrestleMania. So they send Hogan and Mr. T to do a talk show to kind of help amp it up a little bit. The talk show host is essentially heckling these guys. He knows it's a show, and he's kind of basically downplaying. Like Hogan is full blown Hogan. He's like, well, let me tell you something, brother. Here's the deal, and he keeps on saying, no, like you mean the deal where you're gonna go hug some other guys in speedos, right? And trying to make a joke out of it. Well, finally at the end of it, and Hogan's getting very, very visibly like agitated, like he's selling it, and you never sell when you're dealing with a smart aleck TV host or radio host. You never sell because now they know they got you. So he keeps on and he goes, hey, how about you put me in one of your little wrestling moves, before we say goodbye and bring out the next guest? He's like, cool, okay. So put him in a front face lock. The 28-inch pythons bore down on him. He picked him up, and his legs are just dangling. And he holds him for like a few seconds. He's like, all right, T, you think he's had enough? And Mr. T's like, yeah, I think he's had enough. Put him down. The dude's like, let's say this is his head. The dude's head just goes boom, and he's out. And he wakes up, and he's like, poor dude's embarrassed. He's just like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're out here having fun with the Hulkster. We'll see you later. He turns around, and it's just a crimson waterfall all over his tweed jacket. And Hogan was pretty proud of that. He's like, yeah, I showed him, until the lawsuit came back. You got to, but they did say, they said the mainstream just wasn't ready for wrestling yet. It evolved
not at that time.
No, it was you had to gradually introduce it, because we're a wild bunch, man. We're show business, but we're the crazy psycho show business. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, you're that like now that they're on the USA Network and Netflix. Oh man, it's back. It's back like in the Attitude Era. So anything goes. They're non-filtered, which makes it. I mean, your wrestling audience is a certain population. It's a certain population. You're kind of pulling in some of the higher end, but for all intents and purposes, your wrestling audience has always been the same from day one. I remember being a kid and finding out in the Sam Houston Coliseum in Houston, Texas, people would wear suits and ties, and they would go to the wrestling matches. Back in the day, you're talking about Danny McShane, Wahoo McDaniel, Gene Kaninsky. You're talking about all these guys, all these greats from back then, Bob Backlund, and even before. And the original Gorgeous George, people would dress up. Madison Square Garden, same thing. They would all dress up. But it was always that middle class that really enjoyed it. They wanted to see those middle class guys, the guy who was a plumber by the day, or a radio talk show host by the day, sound guy, and a wrestler on the weekend and at night. They wanted to see these guys win. They wanted to see them go over the good versus evil. But yeah, now it's just it's so mainstream now that and there used to be a time when it wasn't cool to be a wrestling fan. Then it was nothing but if you weren't a wrestling fan, you weren't cool. If you didn't have the I'm Your Poppy Eddie Guerrero T-shirt, and the Stone Cold 316 T-shirt, you were nothing. And then it got to a certain point where wrestling kind of took a little bit of a fall, came back up. It's back up like it was back in the 90s for the Attitude Era. And, it's cool. Everybody wants to be part of it again.
And, it's kind of like a cruel twist of fate there, but I didn't get into wrestling super big until I was 13 years old, and I was in 7th grade. Well, the years before that, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, that's when everybody my age was like, oh yeah, like who's your favorite wrestler? And if you didn't watch, you just made something up, or you relentlessly got picked on for not watching wrestling, right? So
yeah,
I was more into science fiction, Spider-Man cartoons, comic books. I was still being a major kid. And then I got into boxing a little bit. I watched Rocky with my grandpa, and I'm like, hey, this is pretty cool. And then I got into boxing,
nice.
and then I remember in 2008, Floyd Money Mayweather showed up as a guest host or a guest star on Raw and challenged the Big Show. Hell yeah, Money Manu, what's up?
There you go.
He showed up and challenged.
I remember that when he challenged Big Show, man.
I'm sitting at my house and watching TV with my mom, and that's just Floyd Money Mayweather's coming to Raw, and I'm like, okay, gotta see this. I love boxing. I've heard wrestling's not as good, but whatever. Was I wrong? I tuned in and could not quit. I was hooked, and so I'm going to school with my John Cena stuff on. Well, all the other kids, they've kind of grown out. I missed the bus. Now they're on the UFC train, and of course the dreaded, we hate hearing the F word, but oh, you still watch the fake stuff, and
Fake
so
stuff.
had to put up with that for years, and then you just get hard nosed to it and say, yeah, you know what, I do watch it, whatever, and then all of a sudden you start seeing other people, and I'm like, oh. Okay. Now you want to go buy the shirts. Now you want to
Yeah.
start talking about it. Okay. Where were you 10 years ago when I was having to secretly trade DVDs behind the dumpsters? The original WWE network was tape trading.
There you go.
That was it, man. You bought the DVD, the really cool box sets that would fold out, and you'd have all the
Oh
sick
yeah.
pictures, and some of them would even come with like posters that you could fold out and put on the wall. Man, I still, as stuff gets old and obsolete, I'm a firm believer in hoarding to a certain extent because that stuff might get popular again. I got a box
Oh yeah.
full of it, dude. But I'm also
Oh
one of
man.
those prideful guys where I'm like, yeah, but that's my wrestling collection, though. You can't have. I'm not selling it. I just want to know it's worth a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
So how many pictures do you have of Dapper Dan when he first started, and then him and Ricky Gonzalez, the Desperados are the original. What were they?
The Rock and Wild pair.
Uh, Rocket Wild pair. There you go.
And sometimes they were the
So
American
you
breed.
have any of their posters, any of their pics?
Well, I don't at my house, but I know that Dapper's wife, the lovely Deanne Davis, has tons. I mean, tons. Man,
Oh yeah.
you walk into their house. The UWE Training Academy is it's a nice little insulated, air conditioned professional building, but it's on Danny's property, so it's like you go to his home to train, basically. So once you get in
Right.
good with the boss, and you start getting like, hey man, you want to come inside? Maybe get a little something to drink. Come hang out a while, and go in there, and I'm like, whoa, this is like a shrine to you, man. There's posters all over the wall in the man cave. There's all of his jackets, all of the Dapper Dan flair, all the original stuff, man. And we
Hats, the jackets, the motorcycles.
you get to
And
hanging out.
I can vouch for several pictures of the Hawaiian Crunch, Manu and his brother Big Kahuna, hanging up on that wall, my friend.
Oh yeah, you're in the training school. You're in the training school as well.
Oh
We
yeah.
got you hanging up in there. That that's another cool feature that a lot of trainers do this. Dapper does it as well at UWE Academy. I know I believe Rodney Mack does this at Dog Pound. I could be wrong, but they hang up all over the wall pictures of famous stars that trainer has not necessarily worked, but met, shared a locker room with, maybe been on a road trip with, and that is like the visual resume of where
Right.
of what's going on. And then of course, the boys, once you get out of training, and it's not like, hey, you graduate, you were putting your picture on the wall. It's like, okay, once you start making a name for yourself regionally, we'll throw you up on the wall, And so then when the
Yep.
next students come in, they say, oh man, I didn't know you knew Ric Flair. I didn't know you met Jake Roberts. And then you look on the other side and you're like, oh, that's all the guys that have come through. Oh, they look pretty good. Looks like the bar's pretty high, And it's kind of,
Oh man, look over there. There's a picture of Cowboy Clifton Roberts. I didn't know he was on your wall.
man, ain't that just a dig? I hate it when there's so many fans that's their first look at me, and I'm like, oh, well, I guess I got to change my gimmick now. Like,
Yes, sir. Cowboy Clifton Roberts. Nope. Cliff Roberts. Nope. Cowboy Clifton. Nope, that's not him. I'm looking for Roberts.
yep. I want to book this guy, but it don't look like he's got any socials. And moving on.
I'll take Gatekeeper instead. Tell him to bring a partner.
Yeah. Oh man, that would be. Sometimes I feel like I like to think I'm the more handsome of the two, but why is he always the one getting texted with the bookings? Like, hey, you and your partner. I'm like, man, why can't you text me? Why's it always got to be that guy?
They figured you're so busy with everything else, the podcast, everything else, the signings, the traveling,
Sure.
hanging out with the boss, having a cold one at the academy with the queen, D, so like, oh, he's probably too busy. Let's get a hold of Gatekeeper. He'll answer us.
Yeah, I'm too busy running my little empire from
There you go.
somebody's garage. Well, I'll tell you, some of the best booking decisions, not necessarily just with us, but like, wrestling everywhere, even all the way up to the big leagues, man. Ain't it crazy how some of the best booking is done at the most modest of places, Like Vince McMahon, it was done right by his pool. They'd be eating a ham sandwich, booking Raw right there by the pool. I know with us, we have a cool little local pizza joint called Jim Deggy's, and
Yeah.
that might as well be our corporate headquarters because every major UWE decision is made over a pizza and some beer at Jim Deggy's.
There you go.
Now, of course, no, I'm not an ego booker because I'm not a booker. Okay, I might get invited to the meetings. I got to leave when the booking starts because they don't want me leaking nothing.
Ah, okay.
Now they're
Okay.
like, "Hey, man, we're about to start
That's a
doing,
smart move. You leave before the check comes. That's a smart move. I like how you do that.
Oh yeah, see, it's all by design. It's all by design.
Now you realize the boss and the queen are going to be probably watching this podcast, so you might want to have to change your tactics a little bit.
Oh man, we can edit it out. We can fix it in
There you
post.
go.
We can fix it in post. Oh yeah, I know. He's the kind of guy he'd be like, "Yeah, I heard you bragging, so you gonna job out to the new guy. Normally you don't win your first one. I had a change of heart. You're gonna job out the new kid. That's probably gonna be what
Ooh,
happened.
man.
Oh well, I'll wear a hood. It wasn't me. That's I know several guys that actually do that, man. They don't pass up a buck. I don't blame them. They always keep a generic hood, some generic stuff, and if they're like, "Hey, we just need a jobber," it'll be like, "Well, I ain't no jobber, but this guy is," and they don't ever have
Yep.
to know. Make that money, man.
I
Get
was
out
talking.
there.
I was talking to Dap about that. I several times I ended up going down into AAA into Mexico, and him and I went at different times, so we actually never went at the same time. And I went because they needed my size. They wanted the 400-pound heel, the big guy who could fly and do all this other stuff. They said, "Do you have a mask?" Sure. Okay. Had this just plain black mask. Went in. Next thing I know, I'm in a tournament, and next thing I know, all right, we got you going over doing this, going over this, going over that, and then you're going for the title. Oh, okay. Last match. Boom. We're taking your mask off. Oh, okay. And ironically, you can ask MV about this because we were the championship match. Took my mask off. Boom. Done. Had all the I had a big black shirt on because I had to hide the Manu, singlet and everything else I had. The Hawaiian. I was actually still the Hawaiian Crunch because Cahoon and I were still together, but I went down to Mexico by myself. He couldn't make the trip. So next thing you know, nice little rumble and tumble. Take MV across the bar, the top, boom, post him, 1, 2, 3. Next thing you know, I'm walking out with the strap, going home with it. They said, "Okay, we're keeping the mask off of you." And apparently, then this is what I was told. The promoter's wife goes, "I didn't realize he was actually that cute. Keep that mask off of him and let's pull his hair back." Okay, done, dude. That was it.
There you go, man. Hey, the
I
money
said,
maker.
I
That's
said, "Can
it.
I keep the mask?" I said, "I kind of like the mask." They're like, "Yeah, you can keep it."
Nah, like, hey, it's a pretty cool mail. Maybe sign it, give it away or something like that.
I like that, man.
My first time wearing a hood. This is one of my favorite road stories, wrestling stories. Tales from the Indies, whatever you want to call it. This was about 2 years ago. Yeah, so this was about 2 years ago. So I'd already completed my rookie year, so I was on year two, and we were working a show for MV for your buddy Mark Valiant. Um, he uh, he had partnered up with Dave. Okay. Oh, sorry. Let me just wipe my anxiety sweat with some of this money.
Sorry.
He was putting together a show in Seguin, Texas, for the veterans, and he's got a big soft spot in his heart for veterans. So he put that thing together at the Armory, National Guard Armory, and so UW went down there and did it. And well, sometimes things happen. Guys don't show up, and well, we got a hole on the card. What are we gonna do? Big gaping hole in the card. We got to fix it. So I'm working against he wasn't the champion yet, but one of my favorite rivals. Don't necessarily love the guy personally, but I do respect him as a worker. X Storms. Anytime me and X
Ah,
Storms get in there, there's some magic happening.
nice.
So we got in there to do it, and man, I'm telling you, I still get a few chills knowing that again we had everybody in that armory believing. We had everybody in there believing that we we were about to kill each other, you know. And I
Nice.
remember I hit a big power bomb and just wah, you know. So I get done with that match. Well, I'm told earlier in the day by another guy, another UWE worker, an original Austin Andrews, former light heavyweight champion. And he's actually got some big things going on with him at WWA. We've talked about them, Warrior Wrestling Alliance. Austin
Nice.
Andrews has really become a draw over in Texas at WWA, so congrats to him.
Nice.
He called me while I was over making an autograph signing appearance at a gun show that was happening right next door to the armory, and we're out there trying to hustle. You know, hey guys, come watch us wrestle. You know, you want to buy some tickets right now? Get it done. You know, here's an autograph, and I get a text from AA, and he's just like, "Hey, Cowboy, me and you were teaming tonight, tag teaming," and I was like, "Yeah, whatever, haha," and he's like, "No, I'm for real," and I'm like, "But I'm set to fight X." He's like, "Yeah, you are." Working twice, dog. And I'm like, this doesn't make any freaking sense. Like, we don't, I'm like, we've never, he goes, no, 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 relax, we got hoods. And I'm like, okay, okay. I said, well, this will be fun. You know, I mean, hey, yeah, let's go out there and do it. So, there is a tag team group that we have that's come through UWE a time or two, the American Rangers. Those guys are awesome.
Yep.
And
Yep.
still, you know, and they're old school. They don't ever take those hoods off when they're inside. And well, Ranger One, the older one, Ranger One had loaned his mask to Danny because he needed something stitched up on it and everything. So he one of his masks he had loaned. So Danny brought it just in case. So he throws me Ranger's mask and he's like, "Here, you can't be American Ranger." But I just texted him. He said you can borrow the hood. So here, so I throw it on and so I was like, all right, let me put it over here. I go out there, I work with X, and like I said earlier, barn burner, big match. We go about 15 minutes, and you know, in a wrestling match, that's a pretty long time.
Ooh,
And we,
man.
well, baby, we're back to back. Okay, I've got my star spangled gear on underneath my cowboy gear. I get in the back, I sling the boots off, I peel my tights off, and then I went and I ran to a Walmart and grabbed a I Heart Texas T-shirt and threw that on because you know I have some noticeable scarring. You know, if you've ever seen me work,
Oh, whoa,
I have
whoa.
some noticeable scar. Oh, relax. There's worse to look at, sir.
You gotta warn me, man. Woof. I ate earlier. Woof. Man. Yeah.
So I'm like, they're gonna see that scar and they're gonna know what's up. So I just go and run and grab a I Heart Texas T-shirt and throw that on, and also it was long sleeve just in case, and threw a pair of tennis shoes on because well the only work boots I brought again. I was greener, so my only footwear I brought was my cowboy boots. So I throw on a pair of Nikes.
To quote Bam Bam Malone, you only got one pair.
Yeah, you see, I loved having Bam on the show. I hate that he supplied you with some sound bites. Oh
Right.
man.
You only got one set of gear.
Uh,
The way he said that.
yeah.
Hey, you don't.
I
You
w-
had the I Heart Texas. That was your second set.
it was. It was. I mean, I went and grabbed it, and then so Dapper. Okay. Keep in mind, I'm panicking right now. I'm not just completely blown up, but I'm about halfway there. I'm freaking tired, dude. So and I didn't win the match or lose. It was thrown out. It was a no contest. So it was very physical at the end. So I take my mane here, throw it up in a bun, and meanwhile AA he's already wrestled. He opened the show. He's had like 2 matches to chill. So here he is with his little Japanese red dragon mask on, and he's just like, hey, cowboy, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And I'm like, son, just be glad it's happening. So I threw on Dapper's Nikes. He kicks his Nikes off. He's like, here, hurry up, put these freaking Nikes on. I went and I grabbed somebody. To this day, I don't know whose kick pads I stole. They got them back, but I still don't know whose kick pads I stole. And I put those on over, and then earlier in the day, I'm like, yeah, it'll be fine. I can do it. Well, I get over there and I'm running to Drew, and I'm just like, Drew, lead the way, baby. Lead the way. And so he runs out. And man, looking back, we were just out there being idiots, and we loved every bit of it. You were just joking around, having fun, and I got to try a different style. I got to work and I really got to push myself and see, can I do some of that prettier lucha-y stuff? And I could. I ain't no luchador, but I challenged myself. I did some things I wouldn't normally do as a cowboy, and we had some great opponents to work with too. We had Royal Pain, Ruthless Devontae Adams, and
Oh,
Prince, and
nice.
I'm so thankful we had such a good team because, like I say, we're both about halfway blown up as before the match even starts. And I wasn't used to wearing a hood, and Ranger's hood is very high quality, which means
It's a little tight.
it's
It's a
it's
little tight the
thick.
way it fits, and it doesn't allow for a lot of breathing room. So you got to try to take shallow breaths. Yeah.
I actually ended up hanging out with Ranger Junior or Ranger Two, his actual partner, and I was like, brother, I don't know how. I don't know how you do it. And actually, if you go back and watch that old match on YouTube, you don't necessarily have to, but if you want to, you see me fish hooking the mouth and pulling, just trying to
Trying
get
to
some
pull it
vent, you know.
there.
So yeah, very very interesting time in Seguin. I'll never forget that night, man. I never. You haven't lived until you're peeling tights off and like, where's my kick pads? Oh my god! So man,
Start putting stuff together as you're actually just walking through the locker room. Shoes, pads, shirt. Yeah, cool. And just kind of throw everything together as you're walking out, literally.
man. I've seen some guys that just ex MMA or they come from an MMA background and they try to do the Steve Blackman look, and a lot of guys will just wear a pair of black jeans, no shirt, and some training Adidas training shoes, and they're like, yeah, that's my gimmick, and I'm like, what you got to do to get that gimmick? Dude, that's the easiest. Man, you show up dressed, you just pull your shirt off and
Yeah,
you're ready. Like,
that's
yeah.
it.
I remember Randy
Woo,
Orton
man.
actually. Randy Orton had that to say about the Wyatts. He says, "Man, I picked the wrong gimmick. I wish I could show up in jeans and a wife beater and be ready."
Oh my god! But that it cracks me up because some of the stuff that happens like that. Like I remember, so I forget who told me. I don't know. I want to say it was Ivan. It might have been Scott Busky. He said, "You know what?" He said, "If you're going to be late to a show, be late enough that they're glad to see you." There were several times after I got that belt and I'm championing the organization. I'm like, all right, they book us. I fly in. Our flight gets delayed. Flight gets delayed again. Don't worry about it. Your last match. Keep calling them. Don't worry about it. We're just the car. We're gonna have a car pick you up at the airport. They're gonna bring you right to the arena. Okay, got it. Two other people were wrestling were on the show. They were right before me. They were semi-main. All right, well I got them with me. Our flight got booked. All right, we're changing at the get off the plane. Car picks us up. Me, I forget the girl's name, and another guy. All three of us are changing in the back of this car, trying to put our gear on. He's like, "Well," he goes, "they just finished intermission. We're gonna get there." He goes, "You're gonna be on as soon as we get there." And she's just like, "Okay." They're calling us. There's traffic. We get there. We pull up. Nope. You missed your match. We had to do something else. Manu, you're up. Win. The guy opened the door and I'm just tying the last part of my boots. He goes, "Here's your belt right now." As soon as I open the door, I hear the side door is open. I'm not even in the gorilla. I'm not even coming through the curtains. I'm coming through the side entrance of the place. The spotlights hit and my music hits. Literally, I get out the car and walk right in. And I'm like, who am I working?
I
As
guess
they're
we'll
walking
find
into the
out.
ring. You want to know who I was working?
Who's that?
Michael P.S. Hayes. I'm like, are you
Oh.
what? I'm like, wait a minute, what? Yeah, we booked him. I'm like, okay, he's already in the ring. Okay,
Mm.
what are we doing? What are we doing? Call it
Yeah.
in the ring. Got it.
At that point, that's all you can do. I mean, just like, in fact, it's just, I don't know, man. Body language it up, go for it. But like, we have
Oh,
no.
it was great, man. It was actually his last match. He was taken off to WWE to talent coordinator and doing some other stuff. So it was one of the last matches he was doing in Texas. Get in the ring, do our thing, walking around, and it was so loud. The crowd was so loud, and literally him and I just openly talking. Nobody could hear us. The crowd was going nuts, and we had almost what 12, 13 minute match. Man, it was great. He's like, lock up. What took you so long? Why'd you get here so late? Two flights, back to back suspended. We had to wait. They canceled the flights. Weather. Oh, okay. That was the ride. Oh, it was good. We're dancing the whole time. And it's like, okay.
Hey, man, you know they got a Buc-ee's right outside of here, man. You might go check that out later. Oh, yeah, thanks, bro.
Actually, it was like, what plans you got after the show, man? We're all going out. We're doing this. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, man, we got the limo already called. Strip club knows we're coming.
He goes, the car that you just came in, they're going to wait for you and take you. He goes, we got another car. He goes, because, we can't be seen together. All right, cool. But we're going to the same place together? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we're a hood in there.
I was like, oh my God. But it was just
Kayfabe, man.
but you know what? That was some of the best, like, to me, looking back on it, I was like a little stressed. And it wasn't like an Android or an iPhone at the time. It was a flip phone. That's the only phones we had. So it was a flip phone. So it kept going off. And I'm thinking, man, using all my minutes. Like send me a text message and don't be using all my minutes. I was like, I gotta buy another card to put in.
Early 2000s problems, yeah. For all you
Oh,
youngins
dude.
watching. Believe it or not, phone calls used to not just be this unlimited resource like air or water. You had to go buy these little cards that put minutes on there.
40 minutes, 20 minutes. You wanted 100 minutes. Whoo, that's $60. I don't know if I want to spend
Yeah,
that.
man. And if you went over, I think the call didn't drop or nothing. You just got charged a heck of a fee for going over minutes, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you paid $1.25 a minute or something, and it was like, whoa, no, I can't do that.
Mm.
Especially back in that day on those kind of paydays. Yeah.
Man, actually, it's funny you mentioned the flip phone. The flip phone is actually partially responsible for one of the most memorable wrestling catchphrases of all time.
Oh.
The story goes that Stone Cold Steve Austin was just having himself a nice day ribbing the crap out of Chris Jericho. Jericho calls Steve and on the old Nokia, and he's like, "Hey man, just tell Vince that I'm coming, okay? But my flight's delayed or whatever it was." He's like, urgent, and Steve the whole time's just like, "Okay, Chris, where'd you go?" And he's like, Steve, can you hear me? What?" And he's just like, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah, you're there. Hey, just tell Vince I'm coming." What? Oh my God, stupid phone. Hold on, I'm in a freaking tunnel. Hold on. Steve, can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you now. Okay, my flight. What? And just ribbing this guy. And it's so crazy, you get close with each other on the road, you start making those bonds in the locker room, and they're like, "Hey man, I dare you. I bet you won't do that to the live audience. I dare you to do it." Okay, I'll try it.
Oh
I'll see if
yeah.
it sticks. And now, man, from WWE all the way down to the indies, it doesn't matter what wrestler. If the crowd wants to heckle you, what?
Everywhere.
What? You know? So, man, we have the fine folks of Nakia to thank for that.
There you go. Hope they got their cut for that one.
Oh yeah,
Woo.
I think the statute of limitations might have run out though. They had
Did
they
I
had
ever
their
tell you
time.
the story of Ricky Gonzalez when we were on the road together?
No, I don't
Danny,
think you have.
Ricky, and myself, and I forget who else. I think it might have been Austin Rhodes, or maybe, but Bubba Monroe was probably there with us.
Sounds like a
Ricky
spicy
Gonzalez,
mix, you know.
dude, the four of us in a truck from Texas to Louisiana to Mississippi and back. Yeah. So Ricky Gonzalez, because that's when you used to pay by the minute. But if you were off your call within under that 60 seconds, you didn't pay for it. You didn't have to pay for that minute. So Ricky Gonzalez every time. Wife would pick up. Hello? Hey babe. Start the timer. Start the timer. And you'd hear it. He would talk to her for 55 seconds. All right, bye. And hang up. Wait 10 seconds, call her back. Hey babe, start the timer. So I got used to that. And ask Dapper. I could imitate Ricky's voice. So I grabbed the phone from Ricky. Yeah? Hey babe, start the timer. And I talked to her for 3 minutes. But every time at 55 seconds, all right, bye. Like, hey babe, start the timer. Finally, after the third call, because I'm starting to say certain things that only a couple should say, Ricky's cracking up laughing. Danny's driving, damn near driving off the road, and Bubba Monroe's drinking beer, just like, Manu, oh man. And she finally figures out it's not Ricky. So I'm like, all right, bye. But hung up. He gets back on the phone. Hey, babe, start the timer. No, it's me. It's me. It's Manu. Manu got the phone for me. And he, no, I swear. No, I wouldn't say stuff about that to you. I'm kind of wondering, should I share that particular story with Raquel at any time, any given day? Because that is her dad and her mom.
Look, sir, all I'm saying is that woman there has muscles on top of muscles.
Oh man.
I'd be careful.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to do it in person. I want to be in the comfort of my own home about 20 hours away. So,
Man, let me give a little shout out to that chick there. I mean, I know she doesn't just need it, because she's very well established. But Raquel has come back to WWE. She came back at Bad Blood. I know y'all saw it, and very cool for us at UWE, because we've told you the story. Her father, Ricky, was Dap's buddy and tag partner for a long time, so he is her godfather, and that's a shoot. That's a straight shoot. He is her godfather. Dapper is, and I don't talk about it a lot. I really didn't know if I could. I didn't want to get her in trouble or anything. But,
yeah, exactly.
But I have had the honor of getting to get in the training ring with her and roll around a little bit, and sweetest, nicest, most humble. It's like you have to remind her that she's in WWE. She is just so down to earth. Not a drill sergeant, and now of course when she turns it on, get out of the way. But man, just so very honored to be such a younger guy out there that got to say, yeah, not only have I worked ex WWE talent, I've worked a current WWE talent. Well, I say worked, trained with, but yeah, big honor there. I remember that day too. Ricky was in the school hanging out with, because he rode down with her, and it was cool. It was like a big wrestler reunion. Dap and Ricky's hanging out, telling war stories to the guys that aren't in the ring. And meanwhile, we're in the ring. So it was almost like a big expo. You get your training in with Raquel, then you go sit under the Ricky learning tree, and then you get back in the ring and get some training. Then you go back under the learning tree over here. So he's sitting there, and he was like, "Okay, you know what? Yeah, let's do it." And I'm like, "Is this guy for real?" So he gets in there and he's like, "Danny, come on. Let's hit him with that American breed, man. Let's hit him with that rockin' wild pair." And I was like,
Oh,
I
man.
said, "Let's go, baby." So me and Raquel tag teamed against her dad and Dapper Dan for a total of about a minute and a half. Because me and Ricky started off, we circle around, and he was like, "All right, kid, let me see what you got." And I was like, "It'd be an honor. Let's go." We lock up. He snapmares me over, boom, kicks me in the back of the neck, and goes to pick me up, and he's like, "Okay, reverse, get you a little heat." I was like, "All right, Mr. Ricky, real slow, clothesline, let's go." Shoot him off, boom, he bumps, rolls over. All right, Danny, I'm done. This is This is for the birds. And then he gets out, and then that doesn't even, I mean, yeah, he trains a little bit, but he just looks and he goes, Ricky, that was like 35 seconds, bruh. Like,
That sounds like
dude. I mean, and he's like, Dad, I told you my shoulder needs work. And he's like, that don't have nothing to do with the gas tank, man. Like, but
oh
man,
man.
fun, very fun family, man. His wife, Ricky's
Oh yeah.
wife, is she's a hoot, So again, just the Lord's blessed me to be in this wrestling fraternity here, and then to have friends like that, and that you can just say like, oh yeah, yeah, I've met her, I'm not going to throw her real name out there. I'm not going to do that to her, but guess what? I know
Uh-huh.
it. So
Yeah. Because that is Raquel Rodriguez, and that is who she is. It's actually nice to see that heel turn.
and
It looks very natural. Looks
it
very
does.
natural.
And I'm really kind of surprised they hadn't done that with her sooner, because I mean, just such
Yeah.
an imposing physical presence, and she's not and I'll say this, it speaks volumes of her popularity because she's not the only one of her kind around, yet she's still mattering. You have Rhea Ripley, who's also built like a machine, man. They bring in Jordan Grace every now and then from TNA over on
Oh
it,
man.
and she's a female Terminator, and so the large muscular woman is not a rare commodity right now, and for Raquel to have that powerhouse build and not get lost in the shuffle speaks volumes on how she's resonated with people over the years.
Yep. So that's whew, that's a lot. It's a lot, and it's a rarity in this business, especially for the women's division, because they tried for so long. I remember when Jazz first came up. You had people like Jacqueline, you had Tori Wilson, you had all them back in the Attitude Era, but they were more divas, fitness models. They weren't really wrestlers. I mean, Lita came in with the luchador style. That was the first big one. Then you had every now and then you had like the Mickey James come in. Then you had the Trish Stratus that came in that wasn't just the pretty looks, also had the athletic ability and could work. And then it just kind of tapered off for a while, and you had the pretty ones, and then TNA started coming up, and then NXT started bringing all these just incredible athletes in from the training center. Like you mentioned, Jordan Grace. The first time I saw her, I was like, "Whoa!" I was like, "Who is this?" "Okay, let's see, powerhouse. Can she work?" Wow, can she work? I was like, and has the personality to go with it, has that star appeal. So that's the whole thing. Raquel doesn't have to say one thing. She can just walk out. It's the look. It's knowing how to approach the audience, everything, and then being able to work on top of it. So yeah, it's interesting. It's an amazing time to be in the business, whether you're old to the business, old school, whether you're new school, whether you've been in for just a couple of years. It's an amazing, just a beautiful time to be part of this business. All of us cannot say, "Oh yeah, I've worked in the big show. I've been this. I've been on TV. I've been on that." But to be in the business, and like you said, it's an honor to be around these people. The fact that I could call Ricky Gonzalez, Dapper Dan, friends, close friends. Dapper Dan. I tell everybody that's my ride and die brother. The ones that you call brothers, so not just and you don't randomly throw that word out there because this is a family. It is a family, and it can be a very close knit family, but it's also a very honest family because we, with each other, will be more honest than anybody in our bloodline. Not the bloodline,
Yeah,
that we're talking about, but
copyright. That's copyrighted.
yeah, I know. But like I've even told, I'm sure my brother will probably watch this. I told Dapper Dan, dude, there's things I trust you with and things that I've told you that I haven't even told my oldest blood brother ever.
Yeah.
And it's just how we are.
You know,
You hit that road and you ride so much, you learn everybody's secrets, learn everybody's little dark secrets, those skeletons. Sometimes you help push the door and keep that door closed so skeletons don't fall out. But at the end of the day, yeah. And some of the biggest heels are some of the nicest people behind the camera.
Dude, that's
So
it. Ain't that crazy how
just
that
how it
works?
is. Just well, I've always told everybody, you see the babies out there, the biggest a-holes in the business. You see the heels out there, they will they will give you your shoes as you're running out to a match, to your second match, trying to put a hood on, trying to put some pants on.
Yeah. Yeah. No, no, no. True story.
Take my shoes, go.
Here, you need some Nikes? Just put them on. Just go. So, yeah.
They're a little big, but just bring them back when I'm done. That's the only pair of shoes I got.
When I got in the business, I was looking at it through the eyes of a realist. I knew I was gonna make connections. I knew I was gonna make friends, but I'm not quick to just trust everybody with everything. And being in the circle I'm in, I've made friends, I've lost friends, and that's just the nature of the beast. But then when you start finding out, it takes you a few years. But once you start finding out who your ride or dies are, I can tell you right now, the gatekeeper. He's not just my tag team partner. We don't just work together because we both wear cowboy hats. He's by all sense of the word. He's my brother. His little boy picket fence. We call him PF. You know,
Yeah.
I'm Uncle Clef, and he's like my unofficial godson. If something were to go down where Garrett has to get out of the state or something for a while, he's coming to stay with Uncle Clef. And that's just how things are. But Dapper Dan, he did a lot more for me than just teach me how to wrestle and teach me the business. I growing up, people come from different walks of life. My dad was a lot older than most people's fathers. My dad is actually old enough to be like my grandfather or great grandfather. So,
Woo.
yeah, my dad had me at like 49, almost 50.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So here I am 30 and he's close to 80. And, this we kind of gelled together like water and oil growing up. He was a big country music guy and loved the golden age of country music, and that was his dream. And he gave it a shot. Didn't work out, and so there was always some drawback there. Whenever I was a kid wanting to dream and do something, it would always get shot down, and you kind of feel like maybe your parents are trying to save you some heartache, and they're like, "Hey, get your mind off of that. It's not going to happen." But at the same time, it just builds resentment. Anyway, my dad's still alive, and we get along, and he's my dad, right? Never gonna take that away. But for a long time, even though he was physically present, it kind of just felt like he was just, sometimes just a roommate in the house. We never really kind of clicked when it mattered. There'd be, like I say, just never went to the football games. We never really talked about stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
so when I met Dapper, it took a while. It took about 2 years because at first I was his student. He was my trainer. Let's leave it at that. And then he kind of became a little less of a trainer and a little more of a friend. And then he kind of became a little less of a friend and a little more of a best friend. And about a week ago in my shoot life, outside of wrestling, I just had a terrible week. And had a bunch of walls fall down on me. Not literally, but it almost felt that way. I had a bunch of walls crash on me, and sometimes, guys, when things go wrong in your shoot life, and the last thing you can think about is work and everything else, and I just didn't know what else to do, so I called Dapper, and I felt like I was going to see my dad, and I felt like I was talking to a dad, and I'll never forget. He took those 28-inch pythons he's got and wrapped me up and hugged me, and didn't let me go, and he says, "You stay here as long as you have to." He said, "I don't want you going and leaving this house doing something stupid." He says, "Go put on some swim trunks, go get a beer out of the fridge, come get in the pool. It's over. It's over now." He goes, "It's over. All you can do is move forward, but you don't have to do that by yourself." And I will never forget that, you don't want to pry on people too much. You don't want to push too hard and you know, ruin a business relationship. But I could tell right there that is the definition of wrestling family. When you need them the most,
Yep.
they don't care. He was like, I don't care.
Yep.
You stay at my house as long as you have to. You stay all day if you want. He says, but
Yep.
you're not doing this alone. And yeah, guys, it really it really matters. It really matters. You know, we beat ourselves up.
Now, see, there you go. That is that for everybody watching this podcast, listening to it, however you may be in view of this, that is real. It's not a shoot. That is real. That is brass tacks, bone, sweat, and tears and blood. That's what this business is about. Not just in the ring, not just in front of the camera, not shooting promos, not trying to get on, Monday night or Friday nights or Wednesday nights. This is what it's about. When like any profession, but athletes have a tendency to go a different route with this because of the heart, soul, blood, sweat, and tears that we put into our profession. It also goes into our lives. And when you make those as gladiators on the warfield, gladiators in the ring, traveling gladiators, road warriors, when you make those connections, and you and I have talked about this off camera, you make those connections, that's who you know your brothers are. That's who you know, not just, hey, can you help me move this couch? No, times get tough. Wrestlers, yeah, as tough as we are on the outside in the ring in the real life, as tough as Manu is, Manu's got a heart. I know MV doesn't see it, and I know a lot of people won't see it because Manu doesn't show it, but it's there. And at the end of the day, you, Dapper, any of these other guys, and I'm gonna say it right now on the camera, even Mark Valiant.
Even you.
At the end of the day, something happens, something goes wrong. I get that call, boom, it's going to be, what do you need? That's all it is because that's what this business is about. James Beard can attest to that. He's seen 1,000 guys come and go. The ones with the biggest hearts are the ones that stay in this business. You know what? I'm not just one of those older guys at 55 years old coming back. I want to relive my glory days. My glory days are gone. I just love the business. I love the camaraderie. I love the brotherhood. Now, we use the word brother almost generic because we are in a brotherhood. But when I say, hey, you need something, you give me a call. That is meant. That's a sincere, I don't care what time it is, boom, you're there. We're traveling together, we'll talk about whatever. But that's another testament. Dapper Dan was your trainer, partner, your mentor, taught you the business. And at the end of the day, he's paying it back to you, he's paying it forward, and he's showing you exactly all these other greenhorns. If you're thinking about getting in the business, these are some of the things that come along with it. Not everybody, you're not going to develop this relationship with everybody, but it's there. And this is what keeps this business going. The camaraderie, the closeness that everybody has, male, female wrestlers, all together. Brothers and sisters in this squared circle, this is the family we have chosen outside of our own birth family. And you can connect both of them or you can keep them separate. But I'm telling you, if you connect both of them, you're going to have an amazing life.
Yes, absolutely. And to that point, I do want to let all of you folks out there know if you are a wrestler, a referee, a manager, a promoter, a booker, or just a fan, there is something out there. I know I'm making this sound like a paid plug, but it's not. There's a thing that the legendary James Beard is a spokesman of, and it's called the Cauliflower Alley Club. And man, I highly recommend that you look into that because that is kind of yeah, kind of like a fraternity, you know, and you have your dues and stuff. But that's what they do. When a wrestler falls on hard times, let's say your house burns down, let's say you total your only vehicle, let's say, you know, you get bad sick and there's medical bills touching the ceiling, you know, the Cauliflower Alley Club has funds set up to help our brothers and sisters of the ring, to help them when no one else can. In years past, there's been so many great wrestlers that gave their all, and they didn't have a pot to pee in when it was all over with. And the Cauliflower Alley Club is a organization designed to alleviate and help those guys out. And I haven't joined yet, but I am getting ready to join that. And I will be very proud to say I'm in it. Guys, people like Kurt Angle, CM Punk, you name it, big stars, and then countless indie guys all across the country, and fans too. Man, if you're a fan, you get to you get to go to the annual meetups and reunions in Vegas and stuff, and to say that you're in a club with people like Kurt Angle, CM Punk, James Beard, Haku, guys like that. It really is special, but what makes it even more special is knowing that, me and Manu can sit here all day and talk about how we love each other and we're a brotherhood, but to know that there's actually an organization that's putting money on the table helping these guys is just incredible. It's incredible to know that that's out there. So I highly recommend y'all check that out, the Cauliflower Alley Club, and be proud. Be a proud member of it, man. Sign up today.
Nice.
Well, sir, looks like we've reached the end of another session. You got anything you want to tell the fans?
One last Bubba Monroe story.
Okay.
Having a match, and it's a Falls Anywhere match. Dapper Dan, Bubba Monroe. When one doesn't get you,
the other one will.
He's got that T-shirt, and I forget. And it might have been Austin Rhodes. We end up, I grab Bubba Monroe, throw him behind the concession stand, get him back out. He's got his hands down, hands down, hands down. Get back towards the ring. He grabbed. I didn't realize he had stuck his hand. They had nachos and popcorn back there.
Okay.
He shoved his hand inside the jar of sliced jalapenos. Gets a handful of sliced jalapenos and holds it, and the juice and everything. We get back in the ring. He rakes my eyes, pulls my trunks, shoves a handful of hot peppers down my butt, smacks my butt, and I've got pepper juice across my eyes. I got pepper juice up my butt, and he's cracking up laughing. And, man, I could not see. My eyes were swollen. They're red. I don't know how I tagged out. So we wait about a week later, do another match in a different town, do the same thing. He does it again. This time I saw him. I grabbed his hand, slammed it against the turnbuckle, shot him in the ring, and grabbed the peppers and actually got him across the eyes with it. He's just cracking up laughing the entire time.
You can't even be mad. I mean, like you knew it was coming back to you.
That receipt had to come back. But yeah, as soon as he told me, he's like, throw me in the concession. Throw me in the concession. I'm like, no. Throw me in the concessions. No.
No, sir. I do not trust this. No. That was
So anyway, that's another good road story. But yes, this has been a good episode. I like this.
Yeah, you know what? Me too. Sometimes it's nice to just me and Manu to take a break here from having guests, but we will be having them back next episode. So not going to spoil who it is yet, but we do have a very special guest coming up next episode. Y'all be sure to find us online now, Southern Wrestling, HTN.net, and our very first issue will be out October 2024. Look for it on Amazon.